Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of 10 Dent Micro Podcast, hosted by Matthew Petchel, my partner in crime, and me, Mike McCarthy. Today, we are blessed, and I mean that word blessed, to have one of the world's most famous endodontists, Chief Dental Officer for Dental Corp, Canada's largest DSO. But the reason we have him on today is Dr. Gary Glassman is one of mine, favorite CE dental speakers. When you are in his audience, fasten your seatbelts, hold on for the ride. Not only are you going to learn, but you're going to just be blown out of your seats. I've never had time fly by so much in a CE lecture than with Dr. Glassman at the helm. Dr. Glassman, thank you for joining us from
Welcome.
Toronto, Canada.
Yes.
Well, it's great to be here. Thanks very much. Truly an honor to be here and on your podcast, Mike and Matthew. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, well,
we are super psyched. So this is a micro podcast. We're going to keep it tight. Want to get to a couple questions for you. World famous endodontist. I mean, your publications, your scientific studies, your inventions, your techniques. I mean, worldwide, everybody knows Dr. Glassman. How did you end up, and what's it like being the Chief Dental Officer of Canada's largest DSO?
Well, it is truly an honor to be the CDO of Dental Corp. I've had the privilege of working with nearly 600 practices across Canada, and we collaborate with some of the most talented and passionate dental professionals in the country. What excites me most is the ability to shape the future of dentistry on a national scale by driving education, innovation, and of course, patient-first culture. And that's what we're all about. It's all about the patient. It's incredibly rewarding to know that the decisions we make can elevate the care for millions of people in Canada, and truly an honor to do that. One of my real passions, as you know, is education, and education drives growth and, of course, provides the quality of dentistry that we really strive at Dental Corp to provide to our patients. Staying on top of the latest innovations allows me to provide the education to stay up on technique and technology, and once again, provide best of class in patient experience.
Yeah, and you said something, you said education is so important, right? It drives so many things. It drives, its core level, it drives intelligence, right? Which is really important, in so many ways, in learning, whether it's workflows or techniques or new products and all that. So how do you also said, this, it's about the patient, right? And we know that that's so very important in this. And in your CE lectures, what kind of things are you talking about that sort of push that narrative, right? And how important that is? Because let's face it, DSOs have kind of gotten a bad rap over the last 10 years, 15 years, that it's not about the patient, right? It's about the money. It's about us putting together, saving money because we're a group, and somehow cutting costs. It's kind of the industry, the other side of the industry says about the DSO part. So how do you, combat that, right?
Yeah, well, that's an interesting comment. I mean, we've changed that narrative, trying to focus away from the money aspect, and the patient experience is what we're really trying to do. And when you come down to it, all dentists, whether a DSO or whether an individual practitioner, they're in a business, and they try to cut costs, and they try to increase revenue. No matter if you're a DSO or you're an independent practitioner, but at the same time, you don't want to cut corners, and you want to keep providing that top class treatment for the patient. So that's sort of how our narrative is. And unfortunately, in the past, other DSOs have gotten that bad rap, but hopefully we've changed that narrative. And it's a real testament for the doctors that have joined our network. And it's really it's a family, and all the partners are very intermingled to each other. We have a very robust associate development program. So when a dentist graduates, they come into our network, we have our arms around them, and we guide them through the journey of dentistry, which can be pretty frightening, especially when you graduate. And as a network which really focuses on not only education, of course, but nurturing our dentists and nurturing the new associates, I think we really got a great formula.
Yeah, I was going to ask, how do you do that, right? How do you kind of keep that same patient experience and that same patient first mentality with 600, is it 600 locations or 600 dentists?
It's close to 600 locations,
Oh,
600
wow.
offices.
So
Yeah.
how do you do it?
Across.
Well,
And
we'll say almost like 600 partners.
Sure. And I was going to ask, how do you do it with that many? And you answered, I was going to, but you answered it before I asked it, which is you kind of have to keep the brand tight, right? And you have to nurture, and you've created a community in a way, right? That is not going to let people get off track, and you're going to stick to the sort of the script in a way, right? Of this is what we're about. That's your core beliefs, and you just have to keep beating that drum.
And one of the nice things about having 600 offices is each office is independently run, and they come to us for the help for the back office and the marketing and the education, which is really, really nice. So
Right.
using our practice as an example, endodontic specialist maintains their name, endodontic specialist, our brand, our reputation, as opposed to being branded under the Dental Corp banner. Everyone's and that's the beauty of our network, is that we all maintain our own clinical autonomy, and that's the business model of Dental Corp, to maintain your clinical autonomy, practice how you want, but at the same time ask for guidance, get the guidance, and move forward.
Right. Excellent.
And I mean, I'll just chime in because I've been to several of the dental core practices across the entire giant Canadian landscape. I think you've done wonders. I've seen the data for access to care. I think more dentistry is being done on a united front. And isn't that what it's all about? Getting people who need treatment treated in a great clinical setting, like you just described. Kudos to you guys. I mean, it's no surprise, but you guys just seem to be doing it right. And there's many different models. Yours works for you, and it's been highly successful. Dr. Glassman, like you, we have a pretty big younger dentist following. I don't know why they're watching two old guys like Matthew and I, but
We don't know.
but we appreciate it. How do you manage it? I mean, I know you're thriving family life, you travel, and one of the great things is you have a massive social media following, and you really post great informatics. It's not all, oh, look at how great my life is. You really seem to care. How do you manage it all, and how do you find time in your day to do it? How do you prioritize dentistry in your life?
Yeah, that's a great question, Mike. I'd say, well, really it's about balance, right? And I'd say balance is an ongoing journey. It's not a destination. And for me, it comes down to passion and purpose. And I truly love what I do. I truly love what I do. And I often get asked, when are you going to retire? And I say, really never, because I really like what I do. I like the balance of teaching. I like the balance of the DSO family that we've created and that we're maintaining. And I love the traveling and teaching dentists how to do the latest and greatest in endodontics, whether it's treating patients, teaching the next generation of dentists, or building programs that improve access to care, as you've mentioned. At the same time, family, personal well-being, they're non-negotiables. And having a strong support around me and making intentional time for the people and activities that ground me is what keeps everything really in perspective.
Yeah. And it's funny, you said something that resonated with me, which was, you were like, balance isn't the goal, right? It's balance is whether you surf or ride a skateboard or a bike. Balance isn't what you're trying to do. It's just a skill you have on your journey, right? And you have to have 5 or 10 or 50 other skills. It's just a skill. And sometimes I think we all forget that balance is a skill that we have to practice, right? And we have to make time for and be intentional, as you mentioned, which I think is, we all need more balance.
Right. Sage wisdom, and you do it gracefully. I think people really need to, clinicians, especially whatever role they have in the dentistry arena, need to remember why they got into it in the first place. I
Yeah.
mean, your passion and joy of what you do. I mean, the layperson may not be that excited about gutta percha, but
Right.
but
Boy, do I make it exciting.
exactly.
Well, and you could find yourself in this industry or any industry, and you may not love it. Like some people like go to dental school or get in this industry because they love it and they do it. But there are some people that just come into it, and some people, my guess is, become a dentist or an endodontist. They don't really necessarily love it at first, but if you don't love it eventually, if you don't love it within a short period of time, you're probably in the wrong career, right? And that's with anything. Is like you've got to, if you don't love it at first, you got to learn to love it, or it's kind of a sign that this isn't what you're meant to do. So how do you, the real question I want to ask is, because you do CE to, I'm guessing there's millennials, there's Gen X, there's Gen Z, you may even have some boomers, you know what I mean, in some of your CE courses who are taking them. What's the difference you see between the generations? Like, what's the difference between, you've been teaching a long time, how it's changed from 20 years ago to now, or what you see in the different sort of generations?
Yeah, so my CE programs really cater not only to the new graduate, but also to the seasoned dentist as well. And I really enjoyed obviously teaching to the new dentist, because when they get out of school, they really need that nurturing. They really need the education, because they get the tools when they get in dental school, but once you get out, that's when you start learning. And it's important for that continued engagement, not only for the younger generation, but for the well-seasoned dentist as well. And I really enjoy not only teaching the young dentist and showing them the technique and technology, but the dentist who has been out for many, many years, updating their practice and updating the techniques and technologies that they're using in order to provide best of class treatment. And there are too many practitioners, and it expands outside of dentistry too, that are very, very comfortable with what they were taught. And unfortunately, they fall behind. And it's important that we do this and encourage this continued engagement in order to drive growth.
I love it.
Excellent.
I love it. Well, to keep a little surprise in here, this isn't meant to be a gotcha question, but I don't know the answer to this, and I know you pretty darn well. Dr. Glassman, if I gave you a magic wand and you could, you're laughing already. If I gave you a magic wand and you could change one thing about dentistry, what would it be and why?
Yeah, that's a great question. Let me ruminate that about a little bit. I mean, if I had a magic wand, I would probably ensure that every patient regardless of where they live or their financial position, has access to painless, predictable, compassionate dental care. And dentistry has made incredible strides in technology, education, and patient comfort, but access and equity are still challenges in our profession. And my dream with that magic wand that you've asked me to hold and wave would be a world where no one fears the dentist and no one delays care because of cost, geography, and every dental professional has the tools they need to deliver the best care possible. That's what I would do.
I love your unity, but especially with your First Nation people and the programs and the education that you provide. You guys really have it together. There's a lot of politicking going on with our Native American tribes and access to care and drive for money and business and access. I fondly applaud you, but thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
That was, usually people focus on a problem they want to fix.
Mhm.
Yours was a really hopeful answer. So
Thank
thanks
you.
for
Well,
sharing
it's hopeful, but it's a problem, right? It's
Yeah.
the compassionate care for anybody who needs it. And, we could do a whole other podcast on how the oral systemic health, we know this is the gateway to so many other problems that come way down the road, that if we can sort of start here, and we're, we've been heading that way in our industry for 10 years, but it's still another 100. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just going to take a long time. This isn't a quick win. It's a long game, and we need soldiers, for lack of a better word. I consider all of us soldiers, like, who are out there. You got to keep pushing that message and sort of that feeling that this is a great industry and there is hope, and we can make it better, and we can expand access to care, and we can be a DSO and care about the patient, right? Which is so important. I mean, half of the industry. And what's the percentage in Canada on, in the US, it's, I don't know, 20-25% are part of a group practice. In Canada, is it quite that high, or is
No, it's quite a bit lower. I would
Lower.
say anywhere between 5 and 7%, and it's growing.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe a little bit higher than that over the last couple of years, but it's much lower than the US.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of laneway to bring more doctors on our platform. And what the lovely thing about our network is, we go by the credo of frictionless dentistry. We want the best in class. We want to make sure that there are no barriers to treatment, not right from the minute you call that office to when you walk in, to when you're treated, to when you leave. And the follow-up care that the patients receive is second to none, which is really, really great, because that's what it's all about, being compassionate and, welcoming our patients into our family.
So with that, folks, I encourage you, one, if you see Dr. Glassman on the speaking circuit, get there, register. You will walk away a wealth of knowledge. But Dr. G, thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule,
Yeah.
especially at this early hour in the morning, to be with us. You have a great day, a great weekend. And to 10 Dent people, like, subscribe, share, and once again, thank you, sir.
Thanks, Dr.
Appreciate
Glassman.
it.
Thanks, Matthew. Great to meet you. And Mike,
Yeah.
always a pleasure. Always
Yeah.
fun. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks again.